Okay, let's dive into this. We're about to take a journey, but not outward, not upward. We're going down. We're going to explore a psychological landscape that's, well, pretty terrifying, but also, in the end, transformative.
So right off the bat, you've got to understand this is not your typical hero's quest for glory and light. It's the exact opposite. It's an inverted path, a necessary, unavoidable descent into the shadow self. The idea here is that to find any kind of real truth, you first have to go down into the basement and face all the stuff you've buried deep inside.
So where does this whole journey even take place? I want you to imagine a crumbling, Gothic wasteland. But it's inside your own mind. The source material describes it as a place of stone trees, which are these physical manifestations of repressed traumas. And it's here, in this forest of frozen memories, that your whole sense of self, your ego, starts to just dissolve. Now, right at the center of this wasteland, you find the subterranean temple. The text says it's this sanctuary carved from black volcanic glass. And what is this place? It's the absolute core of your psychological underworld. It's a place where all the rules, all the conditioning from society is just stripped away, leaving nothing but your most basic, raw, unfiltered instincts. And it's here in this desolate, raw landscape that we meet our central figure, an uncanny jester, perched up high like a gargoyle. And he's about to begin his performance. This is where a three-part dialogue for the soul really kicks off.
So first, the jester's role is what's called the instrument. You can kind of think of him as the voice of the id, channeling what the source calls the music of truth. And this isn't music that's meant to be pretty or comforting. No, it's primal, it's raw, it's instinct. It just is.
And the song he's playing, it's called The Logic of Zero. It's this deeply nihilistic melody, and it's basically arguing that being an individual, being separate from everything else, was the original catastrophe. According to this music, the ultimate goal isn't to live a better life. It's to release the self entirely and return to the profound peace of just not existing. Now, you can't just play a funeral dirge for existence itself and expect no one to have something to say about it. A new figure emerges from the dunes, ready to challenge this whole philosophy of nothingness. The dialogue's about to get interesting. And our challenger is the daemon. I mean, look at that description. A flickering remnant of the chemical scream of existence. This thing is pure life force. It represents that passionate, chaotic, undeniable will to live. So here it is. This is our central conflict. You've got the jester, arguing for the sweet release of the void, going head-to-head with the daemon, who champions the fire and struggle of existence. One pulls you toward non-being, the other pushes you to keep going no matter what. Now, this challenge from the daemon, it actually forces the jester to evolve. He can't just be a passive instrument anymore. He becomes the mirror, a reflection of the ego. And in this role, he does more than just play a song. He starts to reveal the soul's contradictions. He shows you that massive gap between the heroic, performative image you show the world and the, well, hidden rot that's festering underneath. Just as this debate between life and nothingness is raging, a third and final figure arrives. And its presence just changes everything. The argument is over. A procedure is about to begin.
The red specter. Its presence is described as a cold industrial weight. Yeah, this thing is not here to debate. It's an operator. It's a force of pure cosmic entropy.
And its task is chillingly clear. It's here to facilitate a systematic return to the inorganic. In other words, its job is to dismantle the self, piece by piece. It uses something called the fire of dismantlement to peel back the gilded cage of your identity, revealing your entire self as just a temporary static disturbance in the great silence of the universe. So, all the players are now on the stage. The dialogue reaches its absolute climax. And the gesture, now acting as this strange mediator, presents a single profound choice.
And man, this is the question at the very heart of it all, the choice of the hourglass. Forget your idealized memories. If you saw the complete, unedited director's cut of your life, every single mistake, every weakness, every fundamental error in your very being, would you say yes to doing it all over again?
See, the jester is making a bet here. He's wagering that seeing the full, unvarnished truth, what's called the blight of revelation, will be so crushing that anyone would just despair. He's betting that you'd see the burden, and you'd beg for the crimson gift, for total self-annihilation, just to quiet that frantic tremor of the ego and surrender to the abyss.
But then, just when it seems like the jester has won his bet, the entire narrative turns on its head. The seeker, this wanderer in the wasteland of their own mind, defies every single expectation.
One single, defiant word, yes. In the face of every failure, every ounce of pain, every ugly, revealed truth, the choice is to affirm it all. This isn't just acceptance, it is a sovereign triumph over despair.
And that one word, that yes, it forces the jester's final transformation. He becomes the witness. He's no longer the id's instrument or the ego's mirror. Now, he's the superego, a silent, objective conscience. He becomes the neutral, foundational reality against which the soul's courage can actually be measured.
So you see the shift, right? The jester's old song, The Logic of Zero, that was all about escape. But this new logic of one, it's all about embrace. Meaning isn't found in returning to the peace of non-existence, but in shouldering the agonizing tension of a flawed life lived with your eyes wide open. This is the moment the overman is born.
And this quote just illustrates the final outcome so brilliantly. The jester doesn't go away. He remains, but now as a vigil, a silent watcher. He has witnessed a courage that took the Red Spectre's fire of dismantlement, the very tool of absolute destruction, and turned it into the fuel for eternal growth, for becoming.
Which leaves us with one last provocative thought. This entire journey, this whole complex dance, it all hinges on that one single moment of affirmation. So what happens? Not when you defeat your darkness, or ignore it, or try to cure it, but when you look it straight in the eye and you say yes.